I didn't want to create a business issue here, but I'm so glad you came here to have dinner with us. And another thing I just want you to know, this is from bottom of our heart, we are so proud, a young Sri Lankan girl representing the world and born in Sri Lanka, and thank your husband also. And I mean, unbelievable, there's no words to tell, and hope and pray one day you will be there in another place.
Thank you very much.
That's for sure.
That's very kind of you to invite us and have us here.
And welcome to Sri Lanka. We are proud and hope to see you in United States very soon.
Thank you. And you've helped a lot of Sri Lankan youth thrive here as well, especially in the tourism industry. Not just in Sri Lanka, around the world as well. So thank you for everything you've done. And it's such an honor to be here.
Thank you so much. And I want to thank your father-in-law, mother-in-law, and your family to have a wonderful girl like you representing Sri Lanka in the UN.
Thank you.
Thanks. If you want to say a few words, you can say.
My name is Jayathma Wickramanayake and I am the UN Secretary General's Envoy on Youth. I serve as the youngest member of the Cabinet of the UN Secretary General Antonio Guterres. My role is to advise the UN Secretary General and represent him on issues related to young people. So I work with all 193 member states of the United Nations. In the last 3 years, I managed to develop a youth policy for the United Nations for the first time in its history, and currently I'm working in implementing that youth policy or the youth strategy in 131 countries around the world, and Sri Lanka of course is one of those 131 countries that is currently working to improve and implement the youth related policies and programs at the country level. I think COVID-19 disproportionately affected young people all over the world. During the first few months of the lockdown measures, about 1.5 billion young people and children were affected by the school closures, and still we have about 365 million children and young people without access to internet. So one of the biggest priorities for the United Nations, and I think should be for governments as well, is connecting young people with digital technologies and with internet so that they can continue their learning process at home. So one of the projects that the UN has launched is called GIGA, together with UNESCO and UNICEF, to connect every child in the world to the internet so that they can receive that education online. Another aspect of the COVID-19 impact on young people that we've considered is mental health. Many of you would know that mental health is a huge concern for young people. Suicide is the second leading cause of death among children and young people around the world. So during the COVID-19 lockdown measures, the immense social and physical restrictions have put a lot of pressure on young people, and that has led to increase of mental health related issues. So together with the World Health Organization and UNICEF, my office launched a program called Coping with COVID, where we helped young people access resources and tools to manage their mental health during the pandemic. I think that's a really good question, because we have the assumption that people can always access internet, right?
Yeah,
I'm of course of the opinion that access to internet should be a human right, like a fundamental human right, because in this day and age you can't really have full access to information if you don't have access to internet. But I think the reality is that a lot of people cannot afford to have access to internet, and they do not have the infrastructure to access internet. So I think in such cases we need to look at not only digital methods of connecting, but also analog methods of connecting. So in places like South Sudan, for an example, we do conduct radio programs through the UN's integrated mission in South Sudan, so that young people who do not have access to digital technologies can still learn through radio technologies. And there are places where we would use text messages instead of, say, WhatsApp, so that kids who do not have access to digital can still learn through different ways and means.
So are you looking at implementing such programs in Sri Lanka as well?
Currently, I'm actually not aware of the efforts that are fully taken by the UN team in Sri Lanka. Since I'm here on personal vacation, I haven't had time to do a formal briefing with the UN teams here to fully learn and be updated about their efforts. But of course, I will continue to support whatever the efforts that they embark on from the headquarters.
Thank you.